Let's go to the Tokyo Pen Show. But wait, let's give this pen a rest. I'm so sorry. This cat is an actual pen rest for sale by the vendor Anitol at the Tokyo Pen Show. And on a brighter note, I'll be giving away a pen that's really not available outside of Japan. I know my thumbnail is a little bit bratty, and I don't mean to dunk on any other pen show. I love pen shows, all pen shows. As a matter of fact, I'll be going to the California Pen Show in February. But I wanted to do something different. Like at the beginning of the video, I'm going to just do a quick highlight of the Tokyo International Pen Show for 2022. And then the rest of the video, I kind of wanted to let you see behind the scenes, the kind of preparation and what we kind of did to run the show. And then instead of like just panning tables and tables that were at the show, I'll be posting a bunch of shorts on the different vendors that I went to and actually filmed at. There's about 20 different shorts. Those are the 1 minute really short videos that you can watch on your phone, you know, straight up and down. So I'll be posting the first couple with this video, and then tomorrow I'll be posting a bunch more, and in total I'll have somewhere around 20. So you can kind of pick and choose on the vendors that you want to actually take a look at, and they'll just be a little bit more detailed than what I'm showing in the video. Or you can just watch all of them and it'll probably take you about 20 minutes. The Tokyo Pen Show for 2022 was successful considering the constraints it was under. Japan just opened up to tourists shortly before the show started, so we weren't really even sure we were going to get international customers. There were constraints on the venue, and for the size of the venue that the Tokyo Pen Show used, they could only have 1,800 customers, and as a result, they sold every ticket. I think the Friday night tickets, which were the most expensive tickets, sold out in like 2 minutes. So there were 1,800 attendees, by over 100 vendors and 72 volunteers. I've been a volunteer for 4 of the 5 years that the Tokyo Pen Show has been in existence, and I kind of wanted to share some of the stuff that we did. This is the show pen, which you could either purchase, or if you came on Friday, you got the pen for free. It comes with the show logo along with 2 little cocktail glasses, which is in line with their theme this year. Cocktail Party at Penguin's Bar. It came with its own matching converter, a Sailor MF steel nib with a clear feed. This is the show ink and is a little bit different from previous years. It has a black box and then has this pretty design of a woman on a sticker in front. It's a beautiful kind of peachy light color in keeping with some of the ink trends going on right now. Here you can see it's a kind of peachy coral with a nice mix of yellow. There were quite a few artisanal nibs at the show. These are size 50 nibs from Furuta. Here's the steps another company called Fuga uses to make their 14 karat gold nibs. And H Works makes titanium pens and titanium nibs, where the body, cap, and even the feed is numbered. We had 3 nib meisters at the show. It's not as big in Japan as it is in other countries. CY from Tokyo Station Pens was there with his partner in crime, Ben Walsh. Here he is looking at a nib under his microscope. Ben Walsh and Amy were at their table explaining all the different kinds of pens that Ben brought. He is like a master at using all different kinds of materials and all different kinds of techniques. CY and Ben are developing a kind of mechanical suction gizmo pen. This is the prototype, and I'll show its function in the short about Ben Walsh. And of course, as usual, Nagahara-san was there, and he brought his son. And here's a pretty cute clip of CY consulting Nagahara. This beautiful Santini Italia ebonite pen is sold by Like Taupe, which is run by Tomoko Suzuki. She's one of the few female Nib meisters here in Japan, and she was at the show, and I'll be doing a short on her. As far as the other vendors, Kuretake brought color. Between their markers and inks, it was kind of like a color wheel. Stilo Arts Kuruizawa brought these beautiful rod-end pens, ebonite, wood, and urushi pens. He'll be at the California Pen Show. Bungu Box brought a bunch of cool stuff. This is their Fujiyama Blue and Ruri ink. They brought their very popular Cinderella's Slipper, which is a clear-bodied and beautiful blue Rialo. And the same thing with their Cinderella Slipper glass pen. Here's a better picture from their website. In their Tears of Alice line, there's a short about Bungu Box in the Tips Shorts playlist. And of course, Aboya was there with all their shiny ebonite. This ebonite is called Shinkai. And I'll also have a short in the Tips 2022 Shorts playlist. This is supposed to mimic colored pencils. Their wide range of all different colors of ebonite is fun to look at. Sean Design is there every year, and they're quite popular in Japan. They're in many of the stationery stores here. And it was nice to see this American t-shirt. Stationery Station brought a huge lineup of pink pens along with a special edition blue Toyooka pen case. And of course, Toyooka was there with their different kinds of pen storage, and I'll have a short in the Tips 2022 Shorts playlist. Shimi no Bungu Bako is Japan's premier fountain pen magazine, and they're there every year at Tips. And they usually bring a variety of different pens, and this year they brought these beautiful leather notebooks in ombre colors. There were a lot of glass pens. These are from Clarto. And also a lot of glass pen paraphernalia. Here's a little ink pot with a sheep hanging off the side. And what's this? This is the world's smallest glass pen, and it's a functioning glass pen, which I'll show in a short about Clarto. Pella Penna came with some affordable Hario glass pens and Hario ink pots. For some reason, these Hario ink pots come elevated in like a beaker, but they're handy to use with glass pens or if you want to mix inks. Flameworks was new to the show, and he brought some really gorgeous, unusual glass pens. They tended to be a little more darker in nature, and like these were my favorite. I've got a short on them too. Ishimaru Bunkodo brought these beautiful Wajima lacquer glass pens. They said they liked the ink pour on my videos, so here's an ink pour of their Ice Rime ink. It's a beautiful chromo shading ink, and I threw in a couple bottle throws in to make them happy. And of course, the paper expert Yamamoto Paper was there with their wide variety of different kinds of fountain pen friendly paper. They have a genius concept of memo box papers. You can buy small packets of different kinds of paper. This is an inexpensive way to try different kinds of paper and to test your inks on different kinds of paper, and I have a short covering this. Plus Lab brought stationery and fountain pen related stamps. It was pretty cool. Shokido brought their usual array of beautiful inks. They make a nice display. And then their normal lineup of like ink boxes. What was new this year is what they call an ink easel, which is basically a little shelf that you can store ink bottles on. I had thoughts that maybe I would just put my currently used inks on this little shelf, but yeah, I couldn't fit 30 bottles on there. Kawasaki Bunguten brought their whole assortment of inks. Their inks tend to be kind of like mystical or something, and a lot of them come with like charms attached to them or incense. A new thing for this year is they were selling some interesting looking pen sleeves. And Utoko makes pen sleeves out of men's kimono material. They're made in Kyoto, however you can order them on Etsy. Sekisei brought these inks called Azonks, and they were kind of like an artist line, and they had colors that were kind of reminiscent of particular paintings. This one is Vermeer Blue. And Fuga, besides having a variety of beautiful pens, was also selling this really cool ink which is made out of goji berries. There's more info on my short about Fuga pens. Okay, how do you run a pen show? First, have dedicated and passionate fountain pen experts to run the show. These guys are the three musketeers of the fountain pen world. Endo-san, this guy, who runs Iboya, was at a vendor exhibit with Kaoru-san, who runs Bungu Box. They got to talking and was wondering why Tokyo didn't have a pen show, and the two of them cooked up the Tokyo International Pen Show. Bruce, from Think on Paper, had the hots for Kaoru-san. Those are his words, not mine. So he volunteered to do the grunt work. Apparently, Endo-san and Bruce do the grunt work, and Kaoru-san is the brains behind everything. I, of course, took liberties and simplified the history. The pen world will never be the same. And yep, Bruce got the girl. Next, you have to have the planning to take the long view. For instance, next year's tips will be in November. However, they had to reserve the venue back in June of this year. They meet every Wednesday and have a great working relationship. Here's a little interaction between two of them.
こんにちは。来年もこのペンショーをここでやりますので、ぜひ11月の3、4、5の3日間、
ここ書いてないんだね。
書いてないね。はい、一緒に楽しみましょう。はい。
来年11月お会いしましょう。お待ちしております。
We are lucky to have access to a beautiful and reasonably priced venue. The venue is the Tokyo Metropolitan Industry and Trade Center, and it's on Tokyo Bay. Since it belongs to the government, they do have some constraints on running the show. To not have too many people in an enclosed space, the government limited how many people that could be in the show. So next year they're going to rent 2 floors to allow more people and more vendors to participate. Make running the show part of building a community of fountain pen fans. There were more volunteers than they actually needed to run the show, but there were several reasons they went ahead and accepted the volunteers and had them participate. One of them is that's a good way to build future volunteers for future shows, that kind of long view look. And part of it was that Bruce was saying that if someone wants to volunteer, they kind of want to participate in the community, and so they just had the volunteers volunteer even though they may not have had a lot of work to do. And surprisingly, a certain percentage of the volunteers had never used the fountain pen before. Every year I've stopped and explained a fountain pen feed or whatever to one of my fellow volunteers, and it's pretty interesting. A lot of them are maybe not fountain pen enthusiasts, but they're glass pen and ink enthusiasts. And it's kind of interesting being a foreigner in Japan. And the first few times that I volunteered, I basically just talked to people that were actually on my shift and doing the kind of work that I was doing. And then every year it got to be where more people would wander over and talk to me. And this year it was like greeting old friends. I'd run around and say hi to the people that had volunteered before. And it was pretty neat. It was almost kind of like a once-a-year pen club or something. Take care of your volunteers. Here's our break room where we could stash our stuff and eat our lunch. While on our shift, we had to wear these orange aprons. I'm trying to steam mine to get the wrinkles out. We got lunch and tea every day, and we even had a scheduled lunch break. Here's Fujiwara-san explaining this Yokohama specialty lunch.
こちらの崎陽軒のシウマイ弁当、シウマイではなくシウマイ弁当は横浜市民のソウルフードです。
Try to have the most competitive prices for the vendors. There are a lot of stationery stores in Japan. It's kind of pretty much, well, a stationery mecca. And so there's actual companies that all they do is run stationery shows. Like Bungu Joshi is one, and they basically run different kinds of stationery shows or paper shows or stamping shows or whatever. But Tips has probably the cheapest cost per table for vendors, and then they don't take a percentage of the vendor's sales, and many shows do that. Well, they'll just take a certain percentage right off the top. I think in a lot of the Bungu Joshi shows, you don't even pay the vendor. You get what they're selling, and then before you can leave, there are like a lot of cash registers and you pay all at once. Tips doesn't have a shortage of vendors, and like I said earlier, they're going to need to rent another floor in order to have more vendors and more participants in order to use that venue. So there may be a point where they will have to turn vendors down.
It was stressed over and over by the organizers that they wanted us volunteers to have fun. As Bruce said, this is not a competition, and the Three Musketeers don't really want to do it unless it's fun. These are just some quick snapshots of the party they held for the volunteers, and we got all this free food and drink. Here you can see them ordering drinks on the pad. Before we get to the giveaway, for the last giveaway, the winners are Wendy Did My Hair and Sarge Lee. Whoever contacts me first can pick which notebook they get. Waka sells fountain pen friendly washi paper and calligraphy brushes. This brush is pretty cool. It's this black covered aluminum. It has a slip cap and a Japanese calligraphy brush, as if it was like a fountain pen where you unscrew the barrel and you can put in their included cartridges or your own converter. It uses a platinum converter. Here you can see the feed. Outfitted with the converter, you suck up the ink just like you would with a fountain pen. They advise you don't use like glitter ink since it's hard to clean out. It's really made for the dark black ink for calligraphy, but they assured me you could use normal ink in there. So for the giveaway, I'll be giving a separate pen, a new pen away in its gift box. It's black aluminum with 2 cartridges. I'll also include their fountain pen friendly washi paper and a platinum converter that will work with it. And you know the drill, just put a comment under the picture of this pen in my Instagram, and then before my next full-length video, I'll just use a random comment picker to pick a winner and then announce it on the next video. And I'll end the video with snippets of volunteers' messages to you.
来年の東京ペンションも来てください。So I love it and it's so honored because it's like a big event like.
無事終わりました。来年のペンションも11月になります。ぜひお越しください。
This is my 5th time at the show, 4th time volunteering. I quite honestly am here because of the fact that I couldn't get a ticket and I wanted to attend the show. And also just for the social purposes of seeing people that I haven't seen in a long time.
So I strongly recommend to come over here because you'll find good pen makers, which you wouldn't find anywhere else.
ぜひとも来年来てください。よろしくお願いします。
Our Tokyo International Pen Show 2023 will be from November 3rd to 5th, right here in beautiful Tokyo. So we want everybody to come visit us in Tokyo. See you next year.